This is a bit of a scary topic, but I think it's one worth covering, and that's monetization in DC Dual Force. The topic has come up a bunch in the community Discord server that I've been running. Speaking of which, if you're at all interested, please come join us. There's a bunch of people in there who are all excited about DC Dual Force, so stop by, say hello, share your opinions on the game. We'd be happy to have you. Monetization isn't the only thing we're going to cover in this video, though. We're also going to talk about their content delivery system, which, obviously, I know where this video is going. I can tell you that it sounds really promising. Now, remember, DC Dual Force was originally planned to be released in 2022 after being announced in 2021. Shortly after it was announced, Gamespot did an interview article with Corey Jones, who's one of the people in charge of the project. They're one of the people who's in charge over at CCG Labs now, and they discussed a lot of things about the game. You've seen me talk about the core rules of this game and dive deep into details about how everything works. Most of that information comes from this Gamespot article. So if you want to know any additional information about the game, be sure to go check out that article. But there's one section of this article I haven't touched yet in a video, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. It's all about their content delivery system. Now, the main reason I haven't discussed this part of the article yet is because they're primarily talking about PvE. It just happens to also give us a lot of insight about their content delivery as far as new cards are concerned. Now, keep in mind, like I said, this article is from 2021, and the game's now releasing in Q2 or Q3 of 2023. A lot of time has passed between then and now, so everything is subject to change. So they might have completely overhauled their content delivery plans. The game might look a lot different, but we can say that this was their plan back in 2021, so my guess is it's going to look similar to this. I'm just going to read verbatim what they said in the article, and then we'll discuss the details that we learned from said article. And again, we're not just reading the whole article, we're reading just this one subsection. One of the main hallmarks of DC Dual Force will be its free weekly PvE offerings, short one-off chapters that follow an individual comic from DC's decades of comic history. Jones mentions Action Comics #1, Superman's first appearance, and the Red Sun arc as two example stories these challenges could follow. But he says there are plenty of paths to choose from there. And that's absolutely true. Even just looking at some of the examples we went over in the comic book references video that we did covering all of the comic books that show up in the trailer, if you look at any of those individual comic book issues, just picking out one thing to base a PvE encounter on is quite difficult. A lot of stuff can happen in a single comic book issue, so there's a lot of room for design and expression even just within a single issue of a comic book. We've also talked to DC about other media as well. Jones explains. For example, Black Adam. We could do a month-long series of PvE comics that are all around Black Adam or something like that. We could have a celebrity pick the comics in a given week. There are tons of ideas. Jones thinks longtime DC fans will be able to appreciate these mini stories even if they haven't read the comic books. He goes on to say, I love The Dark Knight, I love Red Sun, and here I get to play a little gamified version of it and collect specific cards from that comic. How cool is that? I have to agree, that is very cool. Each of the weekly challenges will come with 3 cards given to all players, meaning an offering of 150 cards per year. That is a crazy amount of cards to just give away for free. We'll talk a bit more about that later. Players who miss a weekly challenge can catch up through DC Dual Force's subscription model. That's interesting. Again, we'll talk about that in a minute, which also offers a number of 5-card packs. So each pack will have 5 cards in it, equal to the price of the subscription model, and a micro set of 8 free cards once per month. Pricing on packs and the subscription model were not available as of this writing. And I would imagine, even if it was, probably would have changed between now and then anyway. The game will also see full expansions a la other card games, with Jones saying there will be one every 4 months or so. That's 3 expansions a year. He stresses that regular content is paramount to DC Dual Force, saying that collectible card games like this suffer from a lack of consistent content. You think about how few and far between PvE content is in other digital card games. It's expensive, it's hard to make, and it gets consumed instantaneously. For us that we're able to use all of these beloved comic books as a baseline to build all of this PvE content is such a great innovation. It's so cool seeing this because he addressed so many things that would be my initial concern when someone told me, hey, we're making a free-to-play card game, and one of the core tenets of this free-to-play card game is that we're going to have weekly missions, weekly PvE missions that are supposed to expand this kind of PvE experience. My very first thought is, well, PvE is content that gets consumed quite quickly. What is that like? If I'm a player who only wants to play PvE and I don't want to play PvP, is there even going to be enough content for me to be able to do that? He doesn't tell us what the answer is, but Corey Jones is aware that that's an issue, so I imagine they have some answer to that. So what are the big takeaways from this paragraph? Well, first of all, we have weekly free PvE missions. That's huge. We get 3 free cards every week, which is insane. That equals a total of 150 cards completely for free every year. That's assuming that you play every single week. Of course, you might miss out on some if you don't play every week, and you'll be able to catch up with the subscription service, which, again, we don't know the details of the subscription service. We don't even know if this is a thing they're going to want to continue to do moving forward. But as of 2021, the information was that players with the subscription service would be able to access old PvE missions, which are no longer in the game. They would also receive packs equal to the cost of the subscription service. So let's say the subscription service is $10, and $10 would normally get you, I don't know, 3 packs or whatever. You'll get 3 packs plus a quote unquote mini set of cards every month tied to that subscription service. So already, without having to spend any money on a subscription, you're going to get 150 cards per year, plus an additional 8 cards every month if you do have that subscription. And in addition to that, later on in the article, we found out that there are going to be 3 expansions per year, or 1 expansion every 4 months, which maths out to 3 expansions per year. If we assume the average expansion size is, I don't know, we'll be a little bit generous and say 120. Usually the average number of cards in an expansion in other card games is somewhere between 100 and 150 cards. We'll just put it right there in the middle and say 120. That's over 600 cards every year if you add all of that up. I cannot tell you how exciting that is. My only concern in there, and concern I'm using quite lightly here, because all of that information is incredibly positive. 150 cards completely for free is absolutely amazing. And then everything else we mentioned is also pretty damn awesome. Again, lightly using the word concern is that I've never heard of a card game using a direct subscription model, and I wonder how the average player will feel about it. Now, really, if you think about what a subscription model is and what it offers, a subscription model is effectively what a battle pass is. A battle pass is like an indirect subscription model that doesn't auto-renew ever, so I guess there's that. But really, a battle pass, if you think about it, is just a subscription model. And so I wonder if this will really be a subscription model, or if it will be something closer to a battle pass. A subscription model is just a little bit more of a, I'll say, for lack of a better word, honest approach to a battle pass. I do wonder though if they'll change this to be a battle pass system, just because battle passes seem so industry standard at this point. Personally, I'm all in favor for a traditional subscription model, especially considering the amount of value they're offering here. I mean, assuming you're going to pay for packs anyway, the subscription model covers the cost, right? So let's say the subscription model is, I don't know, $15. Let's just make it up and say it's $15. And let's say you were already going to spend $15 on packs. You make up your money, so you already get access to the same number of packs you were going to buy with that money. And on top of that, you get all of the old weekly missions and 8 free cards every month. I don't know what to say other than that is extraordinary value. And even though everything in this article is extraordinarily promising, this article was 2 years ago. You know, a lot can change during that time. So like I said, take all of this information with a grain of salt, but the information we do have is extraordinarily promising. I'm going to sign out there though. Keep being awesome, and I'll catch you in the next one.